Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top favourite 15 movies from the year 1990. The year I was born. And for movies, this was just a fun year. There were just so many great home runs for me from 1990. Yeah, just compiling the list was so difficult. So many great ones, just an absolute great time when it comes to films, I think, from 1990. Yeah, that being said, these again, all in accordance with the release dates from IMDb. They all have 1990 against their name. And I'm going to leave a full list down below of all my honourable mentions that didn't make the cut because there were just too many to choose from. But I could only pick 15. So yeah, that being said, going to kick off the list with number 15. So coming in at number 15 for me, we have Sam Raimi's Darkman, starring Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand. Yeah, this is just a fantastic, fun comic book movie, sort of about this scientist who gets completely in the wrong place at the wrong time with these gangsters, and yeah, he gets caught in a horrific accident, and it gives him these superpowers. He can't go back to his partner because he's just hugely disfigured. So he just takes on the realm of Darkman, and yeah, it's just a fun comic book movie. Danny Elfman's score in it is fantastic as well, and yeah, just have a great time. Liam Neeson absolutely hams it up, and yeah, it's just a fun movie. Great time, great score, great Sam Raimi movie. So yeah, coming in at number 15 for me, we have Darkman. So coming in at number 14 for me, we have Renny Harlin's Die Hard 2. Really solid, really fun follow-up to the original. Not as good as the original, but I still really do like this film. Yeah, I just have a fun time with it. I think Bruce Willis is great back as John McClane, and we have a great villain with William Sadler as well. Changing it up a bit, this one, whereas the first one sort of took place primarily in the Nakatomi Plaza. This one pretty much takes place at an airport, and yeah, it's just a fun movie. I love the chemistry that Bruce Willis and Dennis Franz have in this movie. I think they're absolutely hilarious. Yeah, it's just a great fun time. Really enjoy this one. Love the look of the movie as well. You just really feel the cold in this film whenever we're outside, and yeah, it's just it's a great fun movie. I just really enjoy this one. Out of the original first three Die Hard films, this is probably the weakest, but it's still a fun, good time, and yeah, just really enjoy it. Bruce Willis is great. So yeah, that is my number 14 pick, Die Hard 2. So coming up next at number 13, we have Reversal of Fortune, starring Jeremy Irons and Glenn Close. Yeah, this is a really cool take on the sort of a courtroom drama, but it doesn't really take place in a courtroom. It's investigating pretty much the story of Jeremy Irons' wife, played by Glenn Close, has been murdered, and it's pretty much stars Ron Silver, who's kind of like this law lecturer, and he's talking about his class about the case, and yeah, it's just really well done. Jeremy Irons is pretty much like the centre main suspect for the murder, and there's something about this movie. The jury come to the conclusion that they come to, and there's one line in this film. It's the closing line of the movie, I think, and it's delivered by Jeremy Irons, and it just completely flips it on its head. And you kind of just think, did the jury come to the right decision here? And yeah, it's just so well acted. Jeremy Irons won the Oscar for Best Actor as well in this film. And yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. Really enjoy this one. So yeah, coming in at number 13, we have Reversal of Fortune. So coming up next at number 12, we have Tremors. Really fun creature feature movie. I just absolutely love the look of this film. Practical effects in it are just so fun as well. Just really enjoyable. Great chemistry between Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward in this film as well. Yeah, it's just pretty much this sort of desert town in the States is just pretty much having its population being taken out by these strange sort of creatures from underground. And yeah, it's just the way the movie tackles it is really creative, really fun. The way you can't really make noise above the ground because you're just going to attract them. And yeah, it's just a really, really tense, fun film. Love the look of it. It looks great. You really feel the heat of this movie when you watch it. And yeah, the miniatures in it are great. The effects in it are great. Really, really just have fun with this one. So yeah, just a great time. So yeah, coming in for my next pick, we have Tremors. So coming up next at number 11, just missing out on the top 10, we have Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, another movie that is just so much fun to watch. Schwarzenegger just is great as the sort of fish out of water character of this cop who's trying to take down this murderer, and he has to sort of go undercover as a teacher because the murderer is trying to relocate his son. And yeah, it's a fun film. It's not a perfect movie. I think the movie suffers tonally. It is all over the place. It's trying to be kind of a gangster movie with touches on drugs and things like that, and then at the same time it tries to be a family-friendly movie. It just really, really suffers from that mishmash, but nevertheless I still really enjoy it. I still have a lot of fun with this film. It's just kind of a breakaway for Schwarzenegger, I think, to just tackle this kind of comedy film, and he's great in the role. He has you can tell he's having a lot of fun with what the material he's been given, and yeah, I just enjoy it. I have a fun time with it. So yeah, that is my number 11 pick, Kindergarten Cop. So cracking into the top 10 now, we have coming in at 10th place, Pacific Heights, starring Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton pretty much plays the tenant from hell in this film. This young couple have decided to invest in a new property, but to kind of help with their mortgage payments, they rent out a couple of the rooms that they have. There's a Japanese couple who are renting one of the rooms, and they decide to rent the other one that they have to Carter Hayes, played by Michael Keaton, who is every tenant's worst nightmare. And the thing that's great about this movie is it feels like it could happen in the real world. It feels very organic. He makes a living out of making tenant landlords' lives miserable, and people like this exist, and it's frightening. He gives an absolutely brilliant performance in it as the villain. It's great to see him sort of divert, as this was pretty much fresh off of Batman at the time. And yeah, it's just a creepy, unsettling movie. Really, really enjoy this one. It's really well done. Doesn't get talked about a hell of a lot, but yeah, it's just a great time. So coming in at 10th place for me, we have Pacific Heights. So coming in at number 9, we have Mermaids, starring Cher, Winona Ryder, Bob Hoskins, and Christina Ricci. An absolutely stacked cast. This is another movie as well, made in the 90s, set in the 60s, and I just love everything about it. The aesthetics, the soundtrack, the acting, it's just wonderful. It's just an absolutely charming little film, this. So it pretty much follows Cher and her two daughters, and she pretty much moves from town to town, and the eldest daughter, played by Winona Ryder, is kind of sick of moving all the time. She just wants to sort of get on with her life and not be constantly chopping and changing schools. And yeah, she meets this guy called Joe, and she just completely falls for him. And yeah, it's just a really, really fun dynamic drama. The ending is kind of puts things on edge a little bit, particularly with Christina Ricci's character, and things come to a head, and it kind of unlocks what the true feelings that Cher and Winona Ryder's characters feel for each other, and kind of the bit of resentment there. But really, really well acted movie. Bob Hoskins is kind of like the glue keeping everything together as well. And yeah, it's just a fun movie. Really, really enjoy it. Love the soundtrack. Love the aesthetics, like I said. And yeah, it's just a charming little film. So coming in at number 9 for me, we have Mermaids. So coming in at number 8, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I loved the cartoon growing up as a kid. Absolutely was in love with it. Watched every second of it that I possibly could. And then I remember seeing an advert on TV that they were going to broadcast a live action film. And I was like, I've got to see it. But I never actually got round to seeing it until years later. But this one for me is great. I love the dark tone of this movie, despite the fun characters in it. The dynamic between Raphael and Splinter in this film is just great. It's just one of the best father-son chemistries in any movie. I love it. I love this this sort of journey that Raphael goes on in this film. He's one of my favourite characters in the movie. The scream he does in it is absolutely terrifying. And just the characters in it and their backstories are just so great. You just really give a shit about them in this movie. Even though they are just 4 giant turtles and a giant rat, you just really care about them. The Foot Clan is no joke in this film. It is just, yeah, they're to be taken so seriously, led by the really intimidating Shredder. And yeah, it's not for everyone, this movie. It's a bit zany, it's a bit, you know, out there, over the top, but for me it really works, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, that is my next pick, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So coming in at number 7 for me is a movie based on a Stephen King novel, and it is Rob Reiner's Misery, starring Kathy Bates and James Caan. This is so well done, this film. One of these movies that takes place mainly in one location, and I just absolutely love it. Pretty much follows James Caan, who plays Paul Sheldon, who is a writer of a very successful series of books called Misery. And he ends up getting into a car accident and his life being saved by Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates, who turns out to be his #1 fan. And as a reward for saving his life, he lets her read pretty much, you know, his latest book that he's going to write. But she isn't too happy about how that book turns out, and things go down a very dark and sinister path. And it's just so well acted, this movie. The 2 leads in it just steal the show. It's so tense, it's so suspenseful, and it's just really horrible at times as well. But God, this movie is great. It just absolutely oozes and drips atmosphere, and I love it. It's great. So yeah, that is my next pick, Misery. So coming in at number 6 for me is an absolute childhood favourite of mine. Written by John Hughes and directed by Chris Columbus, and that is, of course, Home Alone. An absolute Christmas staple for me that I watch every year. Love this film and its first sequel. Yeah, just a great, fun movie. Can't say that enough about the ones on this list, but yeah, really great concept. Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, is left on his own for the holidays as his whole entire family leave him behind, and it just, you have these 2 burglars who just are fixated and obsessed with his house, and yeah, he just doesn't make it the whole burglary a bit an easy time for them. And yeah, just absolutely love this film. Love the John Williams score in it as well. It's just brilliant. But my only negative with it, it's not the movie's fault, is that I really do love this film, and the only problem is I can only really watch it one time of the year, and that's Christmas time. It's a seasonal movie. It's tied to that time of the year. I can't watch it for 11 other months of the year. Had this movie pretty much not been a Christmas movie, it probably would have been a lot higher on this list, but it's just a great addition to watch at the season when Christmas does roll around. But yeah, like I said, if it wasn't at Christmas, it probably would have been a lot higher, because I just love the film. I just think it's great. So yeah, that is my number 6 pick, Home Alone. So coming in at number 5 for me is Back to the Future Part 3. Yeah, this for me does everything that a third movie in a trilogy should do. It advances the story again as the second one does. It's a completely new setting, and it just gives you that satisfying, conclusive ending. Wraps everything up so well, ties up all the loose ends, and you just feel so satisfied after digesting this third and final film in this series. And yeah, it's just a wonderful setting. The western setting of this movie is great. The villain in this movie, Mad Dog Tannen, is just absolutely hammed up in the film. Yeah, just really, really love this set. And this is probably the best one in terms of its 4K transfer, in my opinion. I absolutely love it. It's probably my least favourite of the three Back to the Future films, but I still really, really enjoy it. I have such a blast with it. Yeah, the introduction of Clara as well is just a great character, and it's just great to see Doc Brown sort of get his happy ending as well. And yeah, it's just a fabulous Western. Really, really enjoy it. Wraps everything up so nicely in this big presented bow, and yeah, it's just a fantastic, fantastic conclusion. So yeah, that is my number 5 pick, Back to the Future Part 3. So coming in at number 4 for me, just missing out on the podium places, is another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and it is Paul Verhoeven's Total Recall. Yeah, I have such a great time with this film. This just sci-fi epic movie, which just goes down this rabbit hole of suspicion, mystery, action. Love it. Yeah, another great performance by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I really have to give it to him in this movie. He doesn't really have the Terminator role to hide behind in this film, where he kind of just has limited dialogue, no expressions. He's really, really got to sort of delve into all of those elements in terms of acting, and he delivers. He just absolutely, hits a home run for this film. The Jerry Goldsmith score is great. It's like a military march in this movie. The violence is over the top. The colours of the movie just absolutely pop. The setting on Mars is fantastic. Ronnie Cox is great as the villain. Michael Ironside as his sort of sidekick. So much fun. Marshall Bell's great. Sharon Stone's great. So many great actors in this movie. And yeah, it's just over the top, balls to the walls. Great action, great sci-fi, great violence, everything you'd want from a Paul Verhoeven movie. So yeah, coming in at number 4 for me, we have Total Recall. So taking the bronze medal for me, coming in at 3rd place, we have Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas. Yeah, this is just one of, if not the best gangster movie ever. It's up there with the likes of The Godfather. For me, this film, really, really enjoy it. Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, that trifecta of actors in this film just absolutely hold it up, and it's fantastic. Definitely one of Scorsese's best movies. The realistic element to this film is just absolutely brilliant. From minute one, you're thrown into the deep end with this film, with its violence. That opening scene feels like you've actually watched a real murder. It is just so horrible and really, really effective. But the movie's just absolutely brilliant. The main star of it for me, who's shines so bright in this film, is definitely Joe Pesci. He's so unhinged, so unpredictable, and the performance itself is absolutely amazing. It's just a fabulous, fabulous gangster film with great characters, great story. Scorsese directs the shit out of this film, and yeah, just a fabulous film. My only issue with it is the ending, that final act. It kind of feels like the movie's quality is deteriorating a little bit. It's all that stuff where Ray Liotta has the paranoia. It doesn't quite fit with the rest of the film for me. It's still good, but it just feels like such diversion from what we've watched in the first 2 acts. But other than that, the film itself is great. Really, really enjoy rewatching this one. And yeah, just have a blast with it. So coming in at 3rd place for me is Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas. So coming up next at number 2 for me is the movie that actually won Best Picture at the Oscars. its director also stars in the movie, and it's just an absolute epic in my opinion. I love it. The 3-hour runtime just never bothered me at all. So coming in at number 2, taking the silver medal, is Kevin Costner's Dances with Wolves. I remember when I sort of picked up this movie for the first time, and I was kind of dreading watching it. I just thought, oh, it's going to be a slog, it's going to be really boring. I loved every minute of it. I just thought the movie was gorgeous, so well acted. Kevin Costner and Mary McDonnell are just great as the leads. You just really root for them in this film. Although the story, I think, has been done to death in many movies since. District 9, Pocahontas, Avatar, they've all touched on or borrowed something from this story. And yeah, they've all got the same message, the same moral at the end of it. And this one, for me, I think does it the best. I just absolutely love the look of this movie. This whole sort of American Civil War look to it is just gorgeous. Costner directs the shit out of the film. It's just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful epic. It's not for everyone because of, you know, how it looks and how it goes on for so long, but for me it really works. I just absolutely adore this film. It's probably my favourite Kevin Costner film. Yeah, just really, really enjoy this one. So coming at number 2 for me is Dances with Wolves. So that now leaves us with one movie left, and this was a no-brainer for me. I adore this film. Absolutely love it. From the first moment I saw it, and yeah, it's Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, I just absolutely fell in love with this film the first time I saw it, and I've loved it ever since. I've rewatched it so many times. The trifecta for me is Tim Burton as the director, Johnny Depp as the star, and Danny Elfman providing the soundtrack. It's the best work I think those three have ever done together. I just love it, of this tale of this simple man who was created by this inventor and was left unfinished, and has scissors for hands, and he gets taken by peg bogs, brought back home to try and fit in everyday society. And you could see he's got the potential to do it, but there's just things and elements around him that stop him from fitting in, and it just all works out for the worst in this film. And he falls for Peg's daughter, played by Winona Ryder, and yeah, it's just a really heartbreaking love story. Really connected with it, really enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in this film about him being a barber, cutting hair. That's all surface level for me. It's the really, really deep love story I just love about this film. And I just think it's one of Tim Burton's best movies. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love everything about this film. It's my number 1 from 1990, and I just have a fantastic time with it. So yeah, that is my number 1 pick, Edward Scissorhands. So yeah, those are my top favourite 15 movies from the year 1990. Gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.